As a reminder, if you are continuing to experience bad weather and you are not able to get to your health department, whether your health department is closed or if they're delayed, sorry, I'm so stopped up this morning. You can do remote service via Train Kentucky and do those hours from home. You're able to do that. You shouldn't need to do that if it's not a day that you are normally scheduled. So you don't have to feel compelled to have to be on your computer to do remote service, but it is an option for you to not miss out on hours on days that your health department is closed, or if you live in an area where you're not able to safely leave your house because your road isn't plowed or it's staying icy. Let me know and let your site supervisor know that those are your plans because I'll have to show some documentation if and when our timesheets get audited. So I'll need you to send to me any of the Train Kentucky certificates that you complete. Now, if you're asked to do some other remote service by your site supervisor that isn't Train Kentucky, that's fine. I don't have to see that. But if you're doing Train Kentucky hours, then I do need to see those site or those certificates of completion. If you have any questions or if you're unsure about what you should be doing on days your health department is closed, or if you're not able to get to your site, just let me know. Or if you want to type a question to the chat. Hopefully, we're getting out of this kind of bad weather time. I think next week is supposed to warm up quite a bit. So maybe we won't have to worry about it. And those are famous last words. I should probably knock on wood about that. Any questions before I move on from that? Okay. I realized that on my number two here, I did forget to change the headline. We've obviously moved past MLK Day of Service, so thank you all for participating in that. When I added the photos here at the end of this in the Word document, it looked great. And then when I converted to PDF, it kind of made those pictures a little bit wonky. So sorry about that, but hopefully you got to see those. I'll scroll down here at the end and show you everybody's pictures that they sent in. So thank you all so much for making Martin Luther King Day Junior Day of Service a success. In AmeriCorps world, it is a big day on. So I'm glad that we were able to show our other programs and then our state commission that we did participate and show that we had proof. We had photo evidence that we did everything. So thank you all so much for doing that. Just a reminder about mid-year evaluations. This has been the one thing that America Learns has maybe failed me a little bit here. Your site supervisor should be completing these first, and then you will sign them. I love all of your site supervisors. They're wonderful. They're great, but they're not doing what they need to do before you can sign your evaluation. So I'm asking you to help me help them complete what they need to do so that you can sign your evaluation. So if you are somebody who started service after December 1st, you don't have to worry about this right now. If you started service before December 1st, you do have to just sign off on your mid-year evaluation. We're a federally funded grant. This is one of the requirements of our grant that members have 2 evaluations in their file. So I'm going to start reaching out to your site supervisors individually to say, hey, nudge, nudge, you got to get these done so that your member that you supervise can sign them. It is in America Learns. Your site supervisors have had a couple of reminders already. But I get it. Everybody's got a lot going on. And once they sign it off, then you have an opportunity to add any notes that you want to, or you can just sign it. There's 2 places for you to sign. And if you've already completed this, thank you. I did want to come back to taxes and W-2s. I was hopeful that we would be able to have a guest speaker today, but it just wasn't going to work out with their schedule. So, unfortunately, they just couldn't be here. I will pass along anything that they share with me to you all. So keep your eye on emails. But one thing that I failed to share with you all last time was utilizing 211. So if you are looking for resources, and maybe this is something you already know about, but you can dial 211 to, um, sorry, to inquire about lots of resources in your area. But when it comes to tax season, that's an added resource finder via 211. So if you are looking for assistance for yourself or for someone you know to get your taxes filed, call 211 and they can direct you. The person that answers will direct you to locations that you can file your taxes for free. If you are somebody that I've talked to and you had specific questions about your taxes and you still have not gotten those answers, please reach back out to me or I will follow up with you after this call to see if you have gotten answers to your question. The person I was hoping was going to join today did let me know that so they were with Zero V, our state domestic violence coalition, and they do taxes around the state for not only survivors of domestic violence, but for anybody that is able to come to those in-person sites. But they also can, in certain circumstances, do taxes remotely for folks that they do not get to at their in-person sites. So if that is something that you really need, I can connect you with them and they can help you get your taxes done. My, again, emphasis here is to not pay to get your taxes done so that you don't lose out on money that is rightfully yours. Does anybody have any questions about filing your taxes, about if you've not received your W-2 from service that you did with Kentucky Public Health AmeriCorps last year, or how to access anything in your ADP account? I have linked that here, just in case you needed that. Any questions about fun stuff, tax related?
Whitney, I do have a question if
Yeah,
that's okay. So I got my W-2 from AmeriCorps, but the health department also issued me, forgive me, I can't remember the name because I'm not in the office right now, but I think it was like a T99 that had all
1099.
of my like travel information where they've been reimbursing me. Does
Sure.
that sound right? Should we all be like getting those?
You might, it
Okay.
really like you would only get a 1099 if it was over $600, I believe.
Okay.
Does that
I
sound
think mine was, so that
okay?
sounds right. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. So anybody else, if you have traveled enough and you've been reimbursed by your local health department, or if you have a second job and it's maybe it was just like kind of contract stuff, if you're on a contract with another organization, then you're going to get a 1099 as opposed to a W-2. So that sounds right. If you haven't been reimbursed up to sorry, enough to have over $600 and you're not going to get that. And Alina, thank you so much. That is a good point. So if you were in our program last year and you were in the CHW training where you earned a stipend, then you're going to get tax documents for that stipend that you earned. Has everybody gotten that was in the program last year and went through CHW training?
I have, but I had already filed my taxes before I got it.
So, Catherine, you're a little ahead of folks because I know that you have a contact that is able to help you with your taxes. What are you going to do an amendment?
I think I was just gonna save it for next year and just claim it on next year's taxes.
Okay. Has anybody else that was in the program last year, went through CHW training, had you already filed your taxes before you received that paperwork? And that might not be, I know we're missing a few folks today. I will follow up with our folks who we've just got a few folks on here that are in that boat. Um, okay, thanks, Regina. I think we only have two other people on here that are in that situation. If you want to type in the chat or if you want to message me whether or not you need, if you have questions about that or not. But that is something that had not crossed my mind until somebody else let me know that they did receive their paperwork for that stipend from last year. So it was a little bit delayed. I would have thought that would have come out before it did. So Catherine, I'm sorry that that messed you up maybe a little bit. Lauren, it wouldn't be from AmeriCorps because it came from, I think it probably is the University of Kentucky is what the tax document from the CHW stipend is going to be. Yeah, thanks, Alina. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, CHW certification application update. So we talked about this last month. The Sodemy account. I hope I'm saying that right. That I don't I don't like that name. It's so weird. Um, Hopefully folks received this email. So this is going to affect not only our new folks that are going through CHW training right now, but our folks that will need to complete their CEUs to keep their certification as you move through this year. So if you are a returning member and you did not receive this email, let me know. It might just be that you have changed your email address. I'm not sure, and you're not checking what you completed your certification account with. Just make sure that if you're not receiving this kind of communication, you should be, especially if you're certified. Um, did anybody who's already certified not receive this correspondence about the update? And then if you are currently going through CHW training, then you should have received I believe you should have received this. Did anybody who's currently going through CHW training not receive this?
I didn't receive it.
Okay. That might have been because you haven't started the process. So you might not should have received it. So it's probably not as big a deal if you're new and didn't receive it. So when you start the application process, you'll be in a new system. So might be good because you're not coming from an old system. But you've got this, just an FYI, this is what it's going to look like from now on. Um, any questions about transitioning to the new system? Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but I do want to make sure that everybody has these helpful email addresses and links. So that email address or that email came from chw.certification@ky.gov. It came from Laura. That's the email address that she uses. Any issues with anybody ever having to reach out to that email address? Has anybody used that? Successes, misses, hits? Okay. The Kentucky Office of Community Health Workers, and I've got these websites pulled up. I'm gonna go over to them. Um, just go to it. Okay, thanks, Vanna. So the Office of Community Health Workers is kind of how you get to everything. It's where you can get to, if you've got questions, you can find the certification manual. You don't pay remember, you don't ever pay the certification fee. Additional resources, good stuff here. Just FYI. Then the other link that I have on there is to Train Kentucky. So hopefully everybody by now has an account except for Sonnet. I know that you might not have started one yet, which is fine. So that's the other link that's on there. Um, any questions about addresses, links, anything? Okay, the other piece that I want to touch on, it might feel like I'm kind of skipping over our folks that are currently going through CHW certification. I just I don't want to gloss over that. I'll make sure that I'm following up with you so that you're on path to get your certification application started. I'll follow up with email if you've got questions on getting started, let me know. Um, I do want to make sure that anybody that is certified and needs CEUs that you're working towards them because I don't know how many of our folks who are certified have been working on these. One of our members was very helpful and let me know that these were a list of um, Train Kentucky courses that she had completed that are earning her CEUs. So I'm going to show you, I just copy and pasted into Train Kentucky and it pulls it right up. So thank you to our very helpful member. So in Train Kentucky, if you go to courses and you search train, it'll bring it right up. And something that our very helpful member also noted was that a lot of these will have that Kentucky Office of Community Health Worker logo on them if they are CEU eligible. Um, I think another one, I copy and pasted another one in there. Uh, and it said, I think it might have been this first one. It had CEU information just at the very beginning. And we also acknowledge that the Train Kentucky site's not necessarily the most, I don't want to say, maybe not necessarily user friendly, just not forthcoming with information. Um, wait, is that the one I was looking for? Yeah, sorry. So here's your info, like here's how you know it has CEUs: continuing education start date, continuing education end date. Um, add it, complete it. It's a 1 hour course. You get a 1 hour CEU. Is that helpful for folks? I mean, this is a whole list. Is there anything you want to ask for our seasoned members who have been working on some online CEUs through Train Kentucky? Again, this is all through Train Kentucky, this whole list here. Okay, I'm gonna keep rolling. So some other ideas for both folks who are not certified yet and for folks who do need to complete some CEUs. These are things that could be helpful for you at all times. So Kentucky Voices for Health is an organization that holds virtual sessions that you can join, and they offer CEUs for joining those sessions. So I've linked to them. You can go to their website, see what they have coming up. In particular, these Thrive Kentucky webinars, you will see they have a list of who they think should attend these. And their first one that they list are community health workers. And they say CEUs are approved for certified community health workers. So there is a list of when they have the Thrive Kentucky webinars coming up. If that works with your schedule, you can sign up. They're free, they're virtual, obviously, and earn a CEU. So there's another option. um, these might break it up a little bit because they're live, and you get a little bit of information about kind of current events, what's going on in the state with these organizations providing information to you about real-time events and resources that are available to folks that you might be working with in your day-to-day activities. Couple other things that are just coming up. I think I've tried to share information about these as they've come up. There's the KPHA conference that is next month now in Northern Kentucky. And then there's the Kentucky Overdose Prevention Summit that's in June, but that one fills up really quick. So if you just make sure that if you're interested in that, that you are um, filling out the registration ASAP. I just do want to remind you that as of right now, AmeriCorps cannot assist with any expense assistance with registration, mileage, meal reimbursement, hotel stays, or anything like that. So if these are things that you want to go to, check with your health department, see if they have folks going, if you can ride with them, if you can, share hotel with other staff, if they have a budget to be able to send you. If you're close enough to go to drive and come back, that might be helpful for you to be able to attend. Yes, on it. I'll definitely I can send these to you. And then also these links are they're taking you directly to um all the blue ones are links, so you can get directly to those. Does anybody else have any other opportunities that they've come across lately that maybe I've missed or have left my radar, or things that are more local to you or even statewide that would be of interest to all of us or some of us? You can drop in the chat if you want to, if it's a link or something. Okay. Really just the last thing was that I wanted to share um, our pictures. Oops. Um, Everybody looks very nice. Again, these are from MLK Day. Thanks for braving the cold if you were outside. And I sorry, these last couple pictures just ended up at the very bottom on an extra page. So y'all, I didn't have a ton to go over today, since our guest wasn't able to attend. Does anybody have anything that they have burning questions on? Any comments before we end? Okay, well, you're gonna get quite a bit of your time back today. I appreciate you all. Hope you stay warm. Let me know if you need anything from me. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, rest of your month, and that's all I got. Does anybody have anything before we end?